What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, part two, I suppose, in a three-part series of all of the different proposals that were dropped today. Now, the last one was a Hive DAO proposal, but this is an SPS proposal, or SPS DAO proposal, I should say, and it is regarding the development of the SPS chain and specifically validators. So let's go ahead and jump in. This is from Yabamat. There's a lot to go over here, just a lot of details, and I'm going to be giving commentary as we go along. Like I said, usually with these, I don't like to read them to you, but I'll just try to cover the main points and then stop and give some commentary where I feel it is necessary. So before getting into the proposal, we would like to provide some context about the current state of the SPS token and what the Splinterlands company is and is not able to provide going forward. So when SPS was first launched in 2021, $3.6 million was raised in a private sale. This is where the SPS DAO got its funds. A portion of those funds have been spent on various things over the past few years, including legal services, marketing, exchange listings, liquidity pools, hiring, etc. The primary purpose for which those funds were meant to be used, however, was to build out the infrastructure necessary to operate the SPS token in an open and decentralized manner. At launch, the Splinterlands company went ahead and built out the infrastructure to run the token in a closed and centralized manner without asking for any funds from the DAO to do so, which was meant to only be a temporary measure until the open source SPS validator software was completed, which would allow the SPS token to be run as a layer 2 on top of Hive, and they're now calling that the the SPS chain. Unfortunately, the temporary solution was implemented and works well. There was never much of an urgency to build out the open, decentralized solution. As a result, the Splinterlands company has been operating the token in a centralized manner for the past 3 years and paying all of the costs to build and maintain the temporary implementation, despite that being the main purpose of the DAO's funds. So, quick note on that, because I'm immediately going back to when Matt talked about the fact that exchanges are not going to list us right now. This is what he's referring to. And I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think anybody had really thought about it in that way. We all thought, SPS launched on BNB and decentralized enough, right? But that's essentially what he's talking about. So let's get into more of it here. For many reasons, the company is no longer in a position to keep doing this, and the responsibility for building and operating the SPS token must be turned over to the DAO. This means that the Splinterlands company will no longer be spending any time or resources working on the SPS validator software going forward as of July 1st, 2025. So that gives us roughly about a year. This gives the DAO 1 year to build and launch a separate solution to operate the SPS token. We believe that the best path forward is for the DAO to hire the developers that have recently been brought on by Splinterlands to finish the validator software, which is what this proposal intends to do. It is important to note that the DAO does not have to go with the solution proposed here. Someone else can be hired to complete the SPS validator software, or a completely different solution can be built to operate the token. Whatever the DAO members decide, however, it is important to understand that if no solution is implemented before Splinterlands, before that date, right? Splinterlands is forced to shut down the temporary implementation it currently operates in roughly 1 year from now. Okay, so here's the proposal: to hire JPTR Corp to develop and maintain the SPS chain. JPTR Corp is a software development company owned and operated by Patrick Gorel, who most of you know as PJ on Discord. Patrick has been leading the development efforts of Splinterlands team for the past year and a half, and we have hired developers who are currently working for the SPS validators through his company. It is important for many reasons to maintain as much separation as possible between Splinterlands and the DAO, and as such, we believe that the best course of action is for the DAO to hire Patrick's company to continue that development. The details of proposals are as follow. Our proposal is as follows: a contract will be executed between the DAO entity and JPTR with these terms. Okay, so 7 bullet points here. The first one: the DAO will pay JPTR $40,000 per month for the next 12 months in either USDC, USDT, or Ethereum on the ETH or BNB Smart Chain networks. Please note, if approved, this proposal will give the authority to DAO treasurers to decide which tokens from the treasury they'll use to pay that. So I guess we get our option, but from a USD perspective, it's going to come out to $40,000 per month. JPTR will complete and release an open source software known as the SPS validator software on or before March 1st, 2025. That will allow anyone to independently run and verify all SPS-related transactions in a completely decentralized manner. That is late. I mean, I know the team has been struggling with what they're doing and the lack of resources, but we were told that it was going to get done by the end of this year no matter what. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way about this date. If we are doing the complete separation of Splinterlands team and JPTR, right, to work with the DAO, then shouldn't it be even easier to get it done by the end of this year? Or was that just not a good date given out? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd like more explanation on that. Hopefully Matt can provide that during the town hall. Number 3, the above mentioned release will, at a minimum, support all of the currently existing functionality for the SPS, voucher, and license tokens. Number 4, JPTR will assist Splinterlands in transitioning the operation of the SPS token from the Splinterlands software to the SPS validator software and ensure that SPS can still be used and managed from within the game and website as normal. Number 5, JPTR will work with the SPS DAO manager, currently Clay, the elected treasurers, and the general SPS token holder community to ensure they're able to successfully operate the software. Number 6, JPTR will work with the SPS DAO community to maintain the software after the initial release, fix any bugs and issues that arise in a timely manner. Number 7, JPTR will publish monthly status and progress updates for the community to review. Okay, regarding the cost, building out a layer 2 blockchain platform and integrating it with a large existing project is a very significant undertaking, to say the least. From that perspective, we believe the cost is actually quite reasonable, and that would be difficult, if not impossible, to find a trustworthy development team that can complete a project like this at the level of quality we would like for less. Additionally, please note that since this contract is monthly rather than large upfront payment, the DAO can cancel at any time through a proposal vote. Finally, we would like to address the fact that in the past, Splinterlands Company has stated on a number of occasions that we expected SPS validator software to be completed by a certain dates, which did not happen. Okay, I was just complaining about that. All right, this is due to the fact that this project was never able to be a priority for the company. We were not being paid to build it, and it did not generate revenue. As such, the developers working on it were always being pulled off to other projects. This is why we believe it's important for the DAO to hire directly. That way, those developers will work directly for the DAO on this project and will not be available to be pulled onto any other work. All right, so a couple of comments that have come in here. Top one that I'll just go over is Clay, who is the DAO manager, said, I've had several conversations with PJ while working on the SPS distribution audit and on several issues in the past, both as an employee of the company and employee of the DAO. This option makes drastically more sense than me trying to hire some randos to build a new chain. I'll be supporting this option. All right, so quick takeaways for this, or quick thing that I'll say. I'll be voting for this as well. I highly recommend everybody, search your soul, search your feelings, do whatever research you need. In the same vein of what Clay was saying, I've never spoken directly to PJ, but I've seen him work back when I was doing more stuff with the team. I've seen him speak and give presentations internally and just talk to things. He's incredibly competent. I don't know about his team. I don't know about his company, but I know that he is incredibly competent, and he's actually helped to push Splinterlands in a really positive direction. Again, this is more from me. This is from me and kind of like what I've seen, and not necessarily as an insider, but just with like a peek behind the curtain. So I know that, PJ and whoever he's surrounding himself to work with are probably competent enough to get this done. $40,000 a month, I have no idea how to value something like this. I'll be very honest with you. But I would trust both Matt and Clay in terms of looking at that and saying, well, if we could find somebody better, right? If we could find somebody better and cheaper, then we probably wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now. And considering the fact that there is a hard deadline on this of July 1st of next year, I think it's imperative that we get this done sooner rather than later. And any kind of like vetting period where we would need to find someone, see if they're any good, see if they'll agree to the terms. And it's not, the problem with this is that it's not just finding someone. It's also getting the entire Splinterlands community, right? The entirety of the SPS stakers to agree on a multitude of things, right? Start date, How much do they pay? Are there any benefits involved? Yada, 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 right? Like, and I know maybe that wasn't laid out here, but it doesn't look like any of that's going to be involved, right? But if you were to hire someone else, maybe they come in and ask for X, Y, Z. Right now, this seems relatively straightforward. It's $40,000 paid in crypto to JPTR, who we know is associated with PJ, right? And so at this point in time, I think that it is important for us to get this done sooner rather than later. And then we can figure out what we want to do from a maintenance perspective in the future. But that's kind of where my thoughts on this are. I mean, like I said, any other takeaways I feel like I talked about already. The date being a big one. I really wish that this had been like a January 1st, 2025. I know it's only 2 months, but considering that we have, less than a year now, right? And you were looking at that. If they were to launch it in March, right, on March 1st, that would give us roughly 4 months to iron out any details, figure out bugs. And the truth is, we probably would need either them or someone else to stay on and work through maintaining the network. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that's all going to play out. You know, a year is a long time from now, but things do move rapidly, while at the same time, our community moves very slowly. And so I think if this is on the table right now, we should continue doing this rather than just pull it off of their plate and trying to find somebody who can, come in, pick up the pieces and finish it in the time frame. So I think that this is probably the best solution. We were already trusting the team to do it. I think the money coming out of the DAO makes sense. This is what the DAO received all those funds for. And I know probably the biggest complaint about this is the fact that people are just going to be like, oh, well, we're raiding the DAO's funds, that this is going to deplete the DAO. I think that the DAO should be engaged in more money or revenue generating opportunities. And if we cannot do that with the team, there should be other ways to explore that, whether that's, getting involved. I heard shout out to the Monster Maverick show with V and Neil. There's opportunities to do some kind of, opportunities to do some kind of yield farming. I mean, if we really believe in Hive, we could probably swap some of the stable coins that we have to HBD and put that into the savings program for 20%, right? Like there's a lot of things that we could and maybe should be doing to generate revenue, but that's for a separate video, right? At this point in time, the DAO is going to have expenses in the future, right? The DAO will need to run itself as an organization, right? Decentralized, autonomous organization. And so we, as the makeup of the DAO, are going to need to find ways to get creative and get efficient, right? In terms of finding ways, rather than just hoping SPS goes to the moon, right? And again, we should be doing everything in our power to try and make that happen. But rather than just waiting for that, we should be finding ways for the DAO to engage in revenue generating opportunities. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback as well. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.